It's time to explore the world according to Glenn. I'm Kevin Jacobsen. Glenn Close is my favorite actress, and this show is all about exploring the career of one of the finest actors of her generation. Each episode, I'll be joined by a guest as we dive into one of Glenn's movies, TV shows, or stage productions, going chronologically through her career, discussing her performance, and assessing the project itself. And today, we are talking Glenn's iconic performance as Cruella de Vil in 101 Dalmatians.
Time nominee Glenn Close, motherfuckers.
My guest today, I am always so excited to catch up with and to podcast with. She was a three-timer on my Best Actress series, joining me for 1936, 1985, and 2019. The mind behind the brilliant YouTube channel Be Kind Rewind. Welcome to the show, Izzy.
Woo, Kevin, thank you for having me. You know, I love chatting with you, so I'm extremely excited to be here today.
Yes, such a pleasure, and I'm so glad that we have arrived at 101 Dalmatians. And I had to have a big guest for this one, and I do consider you a big guest. So
I'm honored.
Yes. Well, anyway, before we talk 101 Dalmatians, would love to know your thoughts on Glenn Close overall, and if you remember when you first saw her and what you like about her, and if you have a favorite performance.
I mean, now that you mention it, I feel like 101 Dalmatians must have been the first time I saw her.
Yep.
Or I also have a vivid memory of watching Sarah Plain and Tall in grade school. Like we were shown that in class. I think we must have like read the book version of it or something. So it's one of those two things. I don't know when I started to conceive of her as like who she is, you know, like this prestige kind of actress, but right. I do have a lot of affection for her. I feel like she has been kind of hard done by a circumstance, I guess. You know, there's always some kind of story that's prevented her from really getting her flowers, but I think she deserves them. I think she's a wonderful actress, and I've only grown more affection for her over like recent years when she's kind of become very accessible on social media. I feel like it's really, I don't know, just given us more of an insight into who she is. And I think that she seems very fun and very nice.
Yeah, for sure. And actually to that point, I feel like, you know, sometimes when celebrities do get more accessible for people, it kind of lessens their mystique in a way. But I feel like with Glenn, it's just kind of like she's just having fun with it in a way that's like,
yes,
like, you don't feel less of her necessarily by seeing more of her life like you'd maybe do with some, I guess. Maybe that's
absolutely.
A poor way of phrasing it, but yeah.
No, and I think it's absolutely relevant to this performance as well, because I think we see her as an actress who is very serious. She's a serious actress, but she doesn't take herself too seriously. That's what we see online, and I think that's also what we get in this film.
Certainly, yes. She loves to be goofy.
Yes.
Which I really appreciate. But yeah, she commits, and all of this is related to what we'll be talking about today.
Absolutely.
So, very exciting. This is a big one. So let's just kind of intro how Disney decided to remake their 1961 animated film 101 Dalmatians in the 90s when they were really on a roll with families and building their legacy and just becoming truly unstoppable. This was the Renaissance period. They had released The Little Mermaid, Beauty and the Beast, Aladdin, Lion King, Pocahontas. Like they were really on a roll with critics and audiences and even awards. And they were making a huge dent in the home media market too with VHS, one of which was 101 Dalmatians. And I think the general feeling was that they could sort of reinvent this story, this classic story that was beloved by parents, and have it be for the next generation for their children. They had only remade The Jungle Book a few years earlier, which was a mild hit, but this is largely considered the start of Disney endlessly remaking their films, which really kicked up again in 2010 with Alice in Wonderland, basically with no end in sight. And now we're just in this era now of this.
Now we're stuck here.
And now we're here, yes.
Yeah.
So I don't know if we want to blame this necessarily for that, or so much as Alice in Wonderland, but, this was a early peek into what our future cinema would be. But for Glenn, she has long talked about how she loved the old Disney films, so she is interested in this juicy role of Cruella de Vil and held the animated film in high esteem, but she turned it down at first because of conflict with her in Sunset Boulevard. Plus, she was concerned about, all the shit she'd have to go through in the film's climax, which we will talk about. But things ended up working out, obviously. I've read from a few unsubstantiated sources that Sigourney Weaver was in the mix for this role, which certainly makes sense. I can imagine the working girl energy she would bring to this. And Kathy Moriarty, too, apparently. But
I could see it.
Exactly. Yes, I see the vision with both of those. But that didn't work out. Glenn was the perfect fit for it, having been convinced to do it by Anthony Powell, her costume designer on Sunset Boulevard, and the designer here too. But the director, Stephen Herrick, apparently had her in mind from the start. This is a wild quote that I read. I just have to read this, where he said, "When I finally committed to do the movie, the first thing that I thought about was Cruella, pure evil, and Glenn came immediately to mind." So I don't know how she took
Compliment?
that, but
Question
I guess
mark?
so.
Who knows?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Kind of a mixed message there, but
sure.
Anyway. So to get into obviously a summary here, 101 Dalmatians, more or less a faithful adaptation of the original animated film, which was itself based on Dodie Smith's children's book, tells the story of a video game designer named Roger, played by Jeff Daniels, who has a pet Dalmatian named Pongo, and the two of them meet a fashion designer, Anita, played by Jolie Richardson, and her Dalmatian, Perdita, at St. James Park in London. They quickly marry, and their dogs fall in love too, leading to the dogs having 15 puppies. Meanwhile, Anita works for Cruella de Vil, played by Glenn, a ruthless fashion magazine diva CEO who loves animal furs, and when she finds out that Anita's dogs have puppies, she tries to get them for herself to make a fabulous fur coat. And she recruits her henchmen, Horace and Jasper, to kidnap them for her, alongside 74 other puppies from other families, to mixed results, as the whole animal kingdom in London seeks to reunite the puppies with their homes. So, yes, let's get right into it. This performance, Cruella, tell me your history with this and with these Disney remakes, if you want to talk about that too.
Sure.
And what you think of this movie now.
I mean, I feel like my response to this movie is so colored by nostalgia because I did have this VHS. I mean, I remember there are lines from this that are just imprinted on my brain that I remember not only from watching the movie again and again, but just from seeing the trailer again and again because it was in front of all of the Disney VHSs at that time.
Mm-hmm.
So I have a lot of affection for it that maybe it doesn't deserve. I was looking at the Letterboxd reviews earlier this morning and I was like, 2.9, you guys have to be crazy. That was a little surprising to me.
I know.
Which is when I realized perhaps it was maybe nostalgia driven. But I do think this performance makes this entire film worth it. I mean, as far as I can remember, like in my mind library, I don't think there is a more iconic Disney revival performance out there. It is absolutely spot on. It gets at the spirit of the original character, but makes it completely her own. I'm so obsessed with it. I think it's fantastic.
I love it. Yeah. Yes. Well, for me, we've finally come to the formative Glenn experience for me. You know, this is where I was first introduced to Glenn, a real awakening moment, you could say, for me of, I guess, understanding and appreciating these kind of diva actresses, especially actresses playing villains, which she obviously specialized in so brilliantly time and again. There was something in this performance, I think, when I was watching it at that age, where at anywhere from 6 to 10 range, that just kind of fascinated me to see this woman be so over the top and look as great as she does. And I probably didn't clock it at the time, but I think on a subconscious level, I was just really kind of taken with this woman who seems to like really know what she wants to like an intense, dangerous degree and is not apologetic for it. And there's no moment of redemption. She is very two-dimensional ultimately what the conflict is here, but like I may not have identified with her, but I was just like there's something so striking about this character that like you love to hate rather than just hate and don't want to see on screen because she is just having so much fun with it. And there is such precision, I think, in what she's doing that I think really is unmatched and really makes it her own in a way that, yeah, I truly, like you said, don't think any other actor has done with these remakes, you know, which for her was intentional. Like she wanted to evoke that cartoonish original flavor of it, but also have it stand on her own and have those different looks. Like she's not just wearing the white coat, her hair is styled differently, you know, the car is different. There are these little cosmetic changes, but I think in her performance, like she is making her a little bit more refined and posh, but
Yeah.
you know, also like so physical, and I think even wittier in her tone too than the original, which I think is why you come to maybe not like her, but at least have so much fun watching her.
Yeah, I was trying to think of the difference, like how I kind of would thread the needle between the two different versions of Cruella. I haven't seen the Emma Stone one.
It's fine.
Um, but I but I was thinking about the original one being kind of inspired by Tallulah Bankhead and like what that kind of contributes to that character. And I was sort of imagining like, okay, I think the difference maybe of how I would describe them. The original one, she has that kind of like slip dress that's kind of falling off of her at all times because she's like so skinny. And it's like, oh, this is a party girl. Like this woman forgot to have dinner because she just had like three whiskeys and is just like getting through her day. You know what I mean?
Yep.
But like this Cruella is like mad if her steak isn't just right. You know what I mean? There's like a pretentiousness to her that
Yeah.
I feel the original doesn't have. And I think that change is so specific. And I think she embodies that really, really well.
Yes, very well said. She is definitely someone who will speak to the manager
Yes, yes, exactly.
at the
Scream at the
slightest
manager.
scream. Yes.
Yes.
But I think for the film itself, like it works well enough. I don't think it's great necessarily, but it is fun, especially because of her presence, which really is like providing so much of a great balance from that sort of over the top saccharine quality of the romance and the cute cuddly dog stuff. Like, I think it kind of runs into a problem that some of John Hughes' work in the 90s kind of had. John Hughes having written the screenplay here, which there's like a certain formulaic quality that maybe gets old even by this point because he's kind of reheating the dynamic of Home Alone, those burglars with Horace and Jasper here, like almost to a T with animals instead of Kevin McAllister. And so, there's kind of a sort of sickly, sweet tone overall, which is kind of nostalgic for me, but it does feel cheap and not all that earned at times. Like the romance with Roger and Anita just feels kind of phoned in for me. I wish maybe we got to spend a tiny bit more time with them and just explore the dynamic with the dogs further and like, I don't know, add a little more sharpness to the storyline because I feel like their arcs just completely disappear in like the second half of the film. So
Totally.
it's ultimately
What
just the Cruella show in
what
the
do you
end.
mean? You don't think that two people would get engaged immediately after pulling each other out of a pond? That's crazy.
Right. Yeah, it really is. I mean, to that point, that feels like classic Hollywood a little bit, where
Totally.
it just kind of like rush into marriage. Yeah, but
Yeah.
yeah, for me, like I said, it's all about Cruella, and it makes so much sense that they really kind of leaned into her presence with the marketing, and because she really is a special ingredient here that really makes it work.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's all kind of tying together, right? Because like if we're thinking about this as kind of classic Hollywood in its formula, I mean, who would play this character if this were a movie? Like it would be Betty Davis, which is like
Yeah,
a version of Tallulah Bankhead, which is but I think like
yeah,
the kind
yeah,
of ironies that we find in a lot of Betty Davis roles are exactly what I see in this, right? Like
yeah.
Janine Basinger writes about this in one of her books, which is like a lot of the time the logic of a film in classic Hollywood will tell you, actually like marriage is the most important thing. Family is the most important thing. But there are these kind of elements strewn throughout the films that are like, I don't need a man, or like I can do this just as well as any other man can, whatever.
Yeah.
That like you tend to take away, even if the ultimately the message is telling you the opposite. And I feel like that's kind of how I was experiencing this film, right? Because like Cruella is a villain. Like she is essentially being like punished for like girl bossing too
Too
hard.
close to the sun.
Yeah. And like I'm obviously for
Yeah.
bad and all of that kind of stuff. She's a
Sure.
villain.
Yeah.
But like the moments where I'm like, you're so right. Like I'm so sorry you're having a child. And
Mhm.
like marriage isn't always it, and like all of these kind of like very modern sentiments that are in the end demonized, but that in a way like you find like satisfaction in hearing this woman say this, in front of this like very saccharine, like over the top sentimental couple that are just like espousing this Disney dream.
Yeah. I mean, let's just say her quote directly: more good women have been lost to
Yep.
marriage than to war, famine, disease, and disaster. You have talent, darling. Don't squander it. And,
Exactly.
sometimes you need to hear that. She's not
Right.
entirely wrong.
Right. Yeah, she's reading like Andrea Dworkin, I feel.
Yeah. I mean, well, actually,
I'm
I did want to mention her inspiration for this voice, which
mm,
was Joanna Lumley from Absolutely Fabulous,
word.
which is a
Okay, yeah,
very
that's great.
inspired choice to have that kind of like, that rich diva attitude and that clipped tone of voice. She said it was all about like strong consonants in her vocal performance, which I think really comes through the way she just kind of attacks certain lines with so much ferocity. It kind of blows your hair back, just kind of like being on the other end of that, um,
Totally.
especially like in that first kind of take charge scene that she has as she storms into her House of De Vil beautiful building, and like she's just in a meeting with Anita, and Anita has this drawing and she has her sycophant next to her, and the sycophant doesn't really know what to do, and she just like, take the drawing from Anita and hand it to me. Is that difficult? Just
I
like
love
really
how, yeah,
attacks.
you can see her
Yes.
like impatience with indecisiveness and incompetence. I think that's
Yes.
really funny. I mean, it is like The Devil Wears Prada before The Devil Wears Prada. It's The DeVille Wears Prada.
Ooh,
There you go.
very good.
Title of the episode.
Title of ep. Yep.
But yeah, I mean, I think it's just so fascinating. I really agree with everything you just said for sure.
Yeah. Like another quote being like, of course, another famous one. It is rather amusing, isn't it? If we make this coat, it would be as if I was wearing your dog.
Hmm.
Woof woof. And then that cackle, which I'm sure she really practiced
Oh
over and
yeah.
over, is something that has apparently haunted children to this day. Which you may have seen a few quotes of her kind of recently, like she was on the Graham Norton show talking about how like she did that cackle in front of a child and they like cried
I
because they're
hope
like,
cried in
oh,
joy because they appreciated the performance. You know what I mean? But
exactly.
I know I saw H. Alan
Yeah.
Scott interviewed her and got her to do it, and
Yes,
I thought that was
that was great.
amazing. I think her British accent is really good.
It
Sometimes,
works. Yeah,
I've been very unconvinced by other, actors of that
yeah.
generation, but I feel like she's great.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, and she didn't have to. I mean, it is technically set in London, but she didn't have to do that voice. So I
Hmm.
don't know. I just appreciate the choice. Again, she just commits so thoroughly to it that it's frightening, but you respect it. So
Yeah. It's very
yes.
I think it'd be very difficult to do like the darling. Like there
Mm-hmm.
has to be an affectation to that, you know.
Yes.
Because like even
Honestly,
Tallulah, you just have to be a Southern, you know what I mean?
right, that's true. I feel like a lot of my notes are just the quotes that she says in the movie
That's what I'm
because
saying. It's like
it
she's
really
not
is
in
like,
this that much,
yeah,
but I mean
but
that is the whole movie. You know what I mean? It's like
yeah,
these five lines that she has
mm-hmm,
are the movie.
really, yeah. Like when she does, like after they've married, Roger and Anita when she visits them, and is just like, tell me, darling, you married him for his dog, and just kind of laughs to herself.
Accidents will happen. Yeah.
Exactly. And I love her disdain for Roger's occupation.
I
Being
know.
like,
Oh my god.
video games. Is he having me on?
Is he having
what
me
a
on?
senseless thing to do with your life.
It's
like,
so good.
Yeah.
Like her eyes when she's kind of like
Right.
stunned to hear that. It's so funny.
Yes. Truly no filter whatsoever. Completely unafraid of.
Yeah, she kind of is the perfect Disney villain because she hates family and marriage.
Yeah.
It's like, there are other Disney villains where if you think of like Jafar or something, it's like he's insidious for many reasons, but like ultimately he like wants to be married. He wants power. He wants to like rule the kingdom. It's like she's kind of unique in that she's just this powerful woman who doesn't give a fuck. Like
Yeah.
even Maleficent, she like is ultimately trying to be a part of like a power structure.
Society. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cruella is rejecting our heteronormative society.
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
something to think about.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I just love how much she never misses a beat, and just the level of enthusiasm and conviction she has in her worldview is just such great comedy gold for me. Another one, I adore puppies. I expect a decline in your work product. And being like, I have no use for babies. Which feels like a
Babies.
predicting Moira Rose down the line, the way she
totally.
says babies.
I love when
but-
she gets caught at the end and she
Yes.
just like snaps back into like poise under pressure and she moves her hair out of her eyes and she goes, is there something wrong? Incredible.
Yeah, it's great. And I love also, like, we're kind of jumping around, but I love the brief scene of, like, we get of Cruella getting word that her henchmen have stolen the 15 puppies and now means that there's 99, accounting for the other puppies that are stolen around town. And just the way that she kind of cackles to be getting what she wants, and even is like jumping up and down a little bit in that one scene, like realizing she's gotten her way. So locked in, and really is like, again, just providing her own interpretation that is different from the animated film.
Yeah.
But
I'm curious your experience. Like, how do you think this ranks in terms of the physicality of this performance within her filmography? Like, in general, would you say that she's a very physical actor? Like, she uses her body a lot, or, and how do you think that this kind of falls within that?
yeah, well, I mean, she's definitely amping it up here more than she usually does for obvious reasons. She understands the assignment. But yeah, she usually does have some of that physicality, even if it's not as overt, just the way that she kind of, works her angles at certain times, like in Dangerous Liaisons is a big example of that. I mean, Fatal Attraction, the way she, uses her body there is very intentional as well. Same thing with Sunset Boulevard on the stage. Like there's definitely a lot of intention in being kind of physical in that way. But I mean, she's not really an action girl. So
Yeah. But
so this is definitely new.
Totally.
At this point in her
I think
career.
using it as in comedy is so new. Like, I don't think she gets that many opportunities to be funny.
Yeah, not really. I mean, she kind of did that a little bit in The Paper. Like, there's a scene towards the end where she's, like, in a fist fight with Michael Keaton. But, yeah, she really was kind of like that, second to Meryl Streep kind of refined, dramatic star of the 80s to early 90s. And then this is at the point where she's starting to just be more playful and having fun. And she has Mars Attacks this same year where she's doing very silly things as well. So, yeah, changing it up.
Always good to see.
I mean, I do want to talk a little bit about like the surrounding elements of the movie, not just talk about her. I did want to briefly talk about how this they had this whole set piece of Roger and Anita meeting, having their meet cute in the park. And the reason I wanted to talk about that is that it made me realize just like I did have a sense memory of being like, that seems like such a nice, fun park to visit. I remember feeling that as a child in St. James Park in London. And it just made me realize, like, I feel like we don't use those kind of real life settings as much anymore in film. You
Yeah,
know?
I mean, the whole time when I was watching that introduction and you see them like biking through the park and it's kind of fall
Yeah,
and you can see their
right.
breath, you know, I was like, wow, film is 1,000% superior to digital. And I
Yeah,
can't believe we pretend otherwise. Like I get it's a cost, measure or
yeah.
whatever, but like it just looks so much better. And it just looks so cozy. They
Mm-hmm.
really make you feel like even the texture of their coats looks so like warm, like you just want to wrap yourself in all of the textures of that film.
Yeah,
It's so special. It really is. And I
right.
I felt the same way. I was like,
Yeah.
when he falls in that in the pond and he's like
Mm-hmm.
wheeling his broken bike through the park, and
Yeah.
you can kind of hear it, like the sound design is so outrageous, like he's splashing in his shoes and everything is making a creaking sound, but you feel it, like it just feels so real, I guess.
Yeah. And it's just so funny to like say all these things of just appreciating these very basic things that film should be when we're in this environment now. And like you look at those reviews from 96 and it's just like, standard, formulaic, dull, like, all of these things are not even really a consideration in
Yeah.
1996 of like appreciating these very basic elemental things, like especially in the climax too, all of that with the farm and that barn, and there's a lot of like sensory overload at times
Hmm.
that you just don't get anymore.
You don't know what you got till it's gone. You don't know what you got till it's gone.
Yes,
But I
but
think also these dog actors are incredible, because I
incredible.
don't I don't even
Yes.
think that they're, how sometimes like they'll have an orange cat but it's like seven cats that are
Hmm.
all playing the same role.
Yep.
I didn't even get that sense with this. I was like, I think these are just the same dogs.
Yeah, they do look like that, even though I do know that they did a lot of switching out just to
Well,
because they
see,
were so
look
young,
at this.
but it's
Yeah, they're
seamless.
just,
I agree.
yeah, with
I
like
mean,
Pondo and Purdy, like
mm-hmm,
they look good.
they do.
They're actors. 10 out of 10.
Yeah, they got their SAG cards.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that like that montage towards the end of like all of the animals around London like communicating and like getting the word out
Yes.
about the Stillman puppies, like that is very impressive, but I'm also like, my God, that must have been such a difficult shoot.
Oh yeah, I had the same thought.
Yeah.
Just I can't even imagine, because there's all those like farm animals as well.
Yeah.
I loved the animatronic raccoons
Mm-hmm.
at the end with the little red pill hat, and they're like
Yes.
cracking up. I was like, oh, that's the best. I love it.
Yes. Provided by Jim Henson, by the way.
Oh, really?
Yep.
See, oh my God. It just
Yeah.
is like all of these things where I'm like, oh, if you do this in real life instead of putting it on a computer, it like always looks better. It
Yeah.
always looks better.
Mm-hmm.
And it's sad.
I know. Yeah, it really is. But yeah, I mean, like the animatronics and like even like these animals that needed direction, like, there's a whole thing where the terrier is like going up to the henchman's lair and like onto the roof and all that, which is completely real. It's, yeah, I cannot imagine having to
Yeah.
direct that. My
Is that
God.
what that was? Is that a terrier? It's like
I
the
think
kind of
so.
copper dog.
Yeah.
I was like, this dog is giving a supporting performance for the ages, for
Yeah.
sure. I was like, this dog is a general. It has
One of my
seen war.
MVPs.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like I love this dog so much. It was great.
Like honestly standing out more for me than Jeff Daniels or Jolie Richardson,
Absolutely.
who are
Absolutely.
perfectly fine here. And by the way, I definitely saw a lot of Vanessa Redgrave's gestures in her face
Oh,
as she was
100%.
acting. Yeah,
Yeah.
I really felt that.
And then also her daughter looks exactly like her too. It's
Yes.
the genes in that family are crazy.
Mhm.
Just out of control.
Yes, and I completely forgot that Dame Joan Plowright also is in this as the nanny figure. Doing
Yeah.
fine work, definitely in her post, like, I just got an Oscar nomination phase, Joan Plowright, but
Yep.
not much to say about her. Not much to say about most of the actors. I mean, I kind of enjoy Hugh Laurie and Mark Williams as the henchmen, Horace and Jasper, but again, like, completely reheating the Home Alone nachos in every
Oh,
single way.
absolutely. Yeah.
Like, it might as well just be Joe Pesci again.
Yeah, totally. I mean, this is my pre-House experience of Hugh Laurie.
I think for me too.
For for probably a lot of people in our
Yeah.
generation. Like, I
Yeah.
think it's so funny because I remember being like watching House and being like, oh, he's British.
Yeah.
Like as if this were a fun fact that like nobody
Yep.
knew about. I'd be like, did you know? Did you know he's British? Have you seen 101 Dalmatians?
It's very
know.
funny because my mother did the exact same thing as House was airing.
Of
Like, she was
course.
obsessed with that fun fact. Like, can you believe he's
I know.
British?
Yeah, like, but that is a thing. People like there's certain actors like this happens. I feel with Toni Collette still,
Oh,
where people are like,
yes.
"Did you know she's Australian?"
Mm-hmm.
And it's
I think
like,
that happens with Melanie Linsky too.
yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
I did want to go back to our leading lady star, where like this really for me could have been like just a paycheck role for her, and I just really respect that she cared so much about like crafting this character, even though this could have been a very disposable Disney remake that she just did for cash. I mean, like, she has this quote of she said, like, I asked to get some of the original dialogue from the animated feature because she said, chloroform them, drown them. It's really horrible stuff. I realized the meaner she was, the better she was.
Yeah.
Which I think is true. And I also think that the Disney of today wouldn't do that. They would not say,
No, they wouldn't.
chloroform them, drown them, all these things. They also wouldn't have her smoking either,
That is
know.
true.
no matter how
think-
horrible she is.
Yeah. I think maybe this is a good lesson in kind of letting villains be two-dimensional,
Yeah.
which is something that Disney really doesn't want to do anymore. Like they
Not at
want to
all.
give like an armchair psychology rationale for why they've chosen to be evil ultimately. And maybe like the new Cruella movie is kind of emblematic of that, right? Where it's sort of
Very
like
much so.
we need an origin story to kind of spell this out, and it just kind of drains all of the character and all of the fun and joy out of villainy. You know, it's
Yeah.
like obviously nobody is watching this and being like, she's right, like kill the tiger at the zoo, you know, like
Right.
that's
Kill
not
the
really
endangered species. Yes.
yeah, it's like, you know, you're not sincerely on her side in a way because of things like that. It's just like the fun of being kind of stubborn and, you know, selfish a little bit
Yeah.
in somebody else's shoes. And like, I think they're so afraid of doing that now.
Yeah.
And I think in a way you kind of lose something when you just shy away from letting them be silly in a cartoonish way.
Mm-hmm. And nowadays we have the villain being anxiety and
Right.
your
Yeah.
inner trauma,
Yes.
which
I
has just
saw-
been explored to death.
What was that tweet? Or maybe it wasn't a tweet, but I don't remember where I read this. It was like somebody said you can tell what type of therapy all of the animators were getting at a certain point, like in the in the generations of different Disney movies.
Yep.
And so it's like, oh, suddenly
true.
there are no moms, and like suddenly everyone has trauma. You know what I mean? Like
Yep.
it's all
Yeah.
that kind of stuff.
But I mean, to that point, the Cruella movie with Emma Stone, it has something to do with like her hatred of Dalmatians was like something that happened to her as a child, where like
Of course.
Dalmatians killed her mom or something like that. And I'm just
Right.
like, can we just let the mystery be? Just let her be
Totally.
evil. You know, we don't need an exploration of.
Right. I mean, you even think about this Cruella being a villain for like wanting to kill puppies. And like, look who's in charge of our government. Christy Nome, who shot a puppy, and like the Trumps, who are like infamously big game hunters.
Yep.
So like, even now, I'm not even sure that a lot of people would look at this and be like, wow, that's bad.
Fair point. Yes. Wow. I'm wondering what the Republican, like, I don't know if Cruella would be a Republican necessarily, but
No. Yeah, that's a great question.
yeah.
Would she be?
Is she in favor of Brexit?
She's an
Like,
anarchist.
what's she's an anarchist. Yeah. I mean, realistically she's in jail, so I don't, you know,
So
it is
true.
what it is. But yeah, I did just want to like dive in a little more about that climax, which I think is like, it has that goofy Home Alone stuff, but also the way that she really commits to like driving like a mad woman. One of my favorite parts of the original animated film, just the mania in her eyes is so fun. I love that red fur coat and just her absolute fury of like her henchmen losing the puppies and very much like you had one job kind of energy she's bringing to that. Yeah, there's just a lot here in this climax. I don't know about you, but like very distinctly have core memories of this climax from my childhood.
Yeah, of her like emerging from the molasses and like her mouth is open and it's like all kind of layered over her. It's disgusting.
It's disgusting and I love
very
it.
iconic. I agree with you. That is cemented in my brain.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, fully. And like like either Horace or Jasper like having that gray like hypothermia face.
Yes.
And like one of them on the roof making excuses and then the skunk getting in the car and causing a stink and yeah,
I mean,
Cruella.
This film really wants to punish her in a way that the original doesn't. Like, she just crashes her car, right? In the original.
Yeah.
And this one's like, no, we're going to humiliate you.
Over and over again. And just when you think it's the end, it'll just get worse.
Yeah.
I mean, an impressive sequence on a technical level, I will say. And once again, like, God, that must have been such a bitch to film.
Oh, absolutely. Can you imagine showering after that?
Mm-hmm.
I hope they just hosed her down, you know?
Yeah, right. I'm sure they did. But yeah, so much great slapstick physical comedy she has there, where she's like peeking into the barn and the horse just like kicks the door and she goes flying. It's ridiculous. And like also very dark when she thinks she is like spotting a puppy in the hay and just starts stabbing at it with a pitchfork.
Mm-hmm.
I
know. I'm making buttonholes.
Yeah.
Awful.
And I forgot that line where she says, I love the smell of near extinction.
I also like, I was recently just at a farm and I saw a pig that was like very similar to that pig. And I was like, if that shit landed on me, I'm not getting up. You know what I mean? Like, I think we underestimate how fucking big pigs are. Like, it was, I really felt for her in that moment. You know what I mean? I was like, you would have broken something for sure.
For sure. Yes.
If that would have happened to you in real life.
Yeah. But it's truly like she still has that same sense of humor even amid all that, which I respect. I love that. Like when she's like quarreling with that raccoon who's stolen her hat and it's just like, red's not your color.
So funny.
Yeah, the raccoon's pulling the levers and she's falling into the vat of molasses because, yeah, I definitely remember being like kind of rattled by that as a kid, even though it's like, yes, she got her comeuppance, but just like the visual of her falling in there and then emerging and screaming at the end.
She's like a bog monster. It's crazy.
Yeah. And I don't think, obviously I didn't know at the time, but the way she emerges from the molasses kind of feels like an homage to Fatal Attraction at the end.
Oh,
where she
maybe.
is emerging from the water in the bathtub at the end. Like it's surprisingly similar. Yeah,
That's
I mean,
true.
I also love another, like I wrote a lot of Glenn quotes because she's had a lot to say about this movie over the years, but she said, hopefully everyone will cheer when I end up in the manure heap. Like she was very plain spoken of being like, I am just playing the most villainous person. I want you to hate me.
Yeah, totally.
Like just fully embracing it. And yeah, just walking around with all that shit all over her in the hay, like such wild imagery.
Yeah, they're like, how do we tar and feather this woman without tar and feathering her, basically?
Quite literally, yes.
Yeah.
And she gets that monologue where she's like, you beast, but I'm not beaten yet. You've won the battle, but I'm about to win the wardrobe. My spotty puppy coat is in plain sight and leaving tracks. In a moment, I'll have what I came for, while all of you will end up as sausage meat, alone on some sad plastic plate. Dead and meaty and red. No friends, no family, no pulse. Just slapped between two buns, smothered in onions, with fries on the side. Cruella de Vil has the last laugh. Like...
Incredible.
She manages to sell that incredibly goofy dialogue.
Oh, yeah. Committed 110%.
So
Just
much.
pure fury.
But yeah.
I love the like slightly incelish implications of like the video game.
Okay, let's
of it
explore
being
this.
like of like that little kid being like, well, the dog catcher's not scary. And then you see a woman and it's like, oh,
Yeah.
terrifying. And he's like, well, what you really need is the desire to annihilate the
Yes.
woman.
Yes. I am deeply concerned about this little boy genius who they
Yeah,
have
exactly.
recruited to play
This
these
boy who's
games.
in control of like the video game industry, I guess.
I assume that he will later have a lot to say about Gamergate.
Absolutely. He's like, why does this woman look so realistic? That's not what I signed up for.
The desire to annihilate. Okay, buddy.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. Think about that. Think about that when you go home,
Exactly.
sir.
But it's truly such a wild climax, the way it just builds and builds and builds and continues to be punished. And it's just a also fascinating recurring theme with these Glenn characters in this era who are truly punished so aggressively. And it's obviously in Fatal Attraction being the main one, but Dangerous Liaisons, she's humiliated at the end. The paper, the way that that ends, where she literally gets shot at accidentally, but still, and is hospitalized. It's just like she really, Sunset Boulevard, there's a
Yeah.
lot there, like very aggressive punishment for these Glenn characters. I guess it's something that people wanted to see.
Yeah. How has anyone asked her about that? Just kind of what she thinks is going on there? Like,
I mean,
what's going on?
that is
Why are you
something.
getting punished so much?
If I got the opportunity to talk to Glenn, I would definitely try to connect those themes of being like,
Yeah.
what's going on there? Is this something to do with our culture in the 80s and 90s at least? And maybe still
Totally.
now. That
Yeah.
we have this kind of bloodthirst with her characters. Mm-hmm. And the way
I'm
that she
surprised
plays
this
them.
hasn't
Yeah.
happened actually. Like, we got to get you on the All's Fair press tour or something.
Yeah, or at least Wake Up Dead Man, which is also coming.
Or that, yeah, as
Yes.
well.
We'll see. We'll see. But I mean, like I said, like it just the way it you feel like it's at the end, like they've arrested her. As if that's not enough. She's in the police van and she gets sprayed with the skunk,
Yes.
which somehow got in there. It's just like one battle after another for Cruella by the end,
Truly, truly. And that would be pretty brutal, I have to say.
Yeah.
Being in, yeah, that's maybe the worst one, honestly, of
Yeah.
all of the punishments.
It's wild. But yeah, it's just such an enjoyable performance to watch more than anything else, even if the movie itself may not be reinventing any wheels per se. Just the level of commitment by Glenn is unmatched, and I really don't think others would have played it with that kind of delicate line of campy and scary and just selling her lines so thoroughly. Like, I can imagine other actresses doing this, but I could see it being a little too silly that you don't take her seriously enough, or
Yeah.
too scary where it's like children do not want to even watch this movie because of how scary it is. Like, she
Yes.
really like rides that line really well.
Yeah, and I think it kind of pulls, like with a lot of these real life adaptations, especially ones that kind of take place in the quote unquote real world, it's like the concept of 101 Dalmatians is like so silly. You know what I mean? Like on its face, if you try to play it too straight, then it's gonna feel unbelievable in a way that's like not fun. And
Right.
so I think she also kind of saves the movie in that sense, where it's like you shouldn't be thinking about this as reality at all. And she kind of allows you to do that. And I mean, we haven't actually talked about it, but like the production designer and the costume designers, like
Totally.
we owe so much of her performance, I think, to them because they really gave her such a beautiful like tableau to like create this character.
Oh, absolutely. Yes. Do we want to talk a little bit about that? Like the costume, like what's your favorite costume here? She has so many, but I always love
think-
the red coat, but
The red coat is fantastic. I mean, I think they're all great. I do want to point out two details that really caught my eye this time. One was it's in the same outfit. It's like she has that ear cuff that's just like cupping her ear perfectly. And then it's like paired with this snake necklace I was
Yes.
obsessed with that because it is those like little details, these are very big outfits, but
Right.
I think they're taken to the next level by small little details like that. I do love the coat that she goes to visit their house in, where she has the famous like marriage line. And
Yep.
it's like militaristic with these details on the chest, but then also these like giant sleeves ballooning off of her are like incredible. I love it.
Yeah, it really is a work of art every time she appears on screen. And it makes me a little sad that, not that this means anything, but that it didn't get an Oscar nomination for costume design. Like it's
Yeah.
ridiculous to me.
Yeah, it
So,
actually is shocking. Do you know
yeah.
what won that year? Did you look that up? I have no idea.
I'm guessing it's the English Patient.
Oh,
just because
boo.
just because I know that they won a bunch that night. So, actually let me look that up. Let's re-examine this now before we
Let's do
dive
it.
into the release of 101 Dalmatians. Yeah, it's the English Patient. The
God,
English Patient won. The other nominees were Angels and Insects. I
don't know
don't
what
know what
that
that
is.
is. I don't know her. Emma,
Sure.
Hamlet,
This
and
really is, it's like peak era for like, oh, you made a period piece? Yeah, it
yes,
really
we love a
is.
poofy dress,
Yeah.
and the Portrait of a Lady. So,
Damn it.
yeah,
Well, in my head, this one.
I mean, yeah, it would be the only variety of
Yeah.
costume here because those are all just dramatic period pieces. So, anyway,
Wow. I also think, I mean, I think her makeup is incredible too.
yes,
The bottom eyeliner is to die for, and just kind of the like stark cherry red on her, like very white face is very shocking.
yeah, and of course the hairstyling is just
Yeah.
out of this world, and it does look cartoonish, but it actually looks kind of like chic at the same time.
Totally. It's
you know?
French. That's what
Yes,
it's French.
right, exactly.
Yeah, no, it looks great. And they get so much variety with it too. Because like obviously it's not the same wig over and over again, but it's meant to evoke the same hair. And they,
Yeah,
the way they kind of like gel it up in certain spaces looks so cool.
yeah. So, I think that's a huge part of it. To your point of how this performance got to be so iconic is just the looks, and she really
Yeah.
just fills it out and plays with those costumes so beautifully.
Did the
Uh,
new one, am I misremembering? The new one did win an Oscar though, right?
yeah,
Did I
it won
make that up?
costume design.
Yeah. Which
So
like I don't think it's as good.
it's
I'm
not. It's
yeah.
not. I mean, they do have it is very showy. It is very like most costumes
Sure, sure,
kind of a
sure.
award.
It's also, I think, a really good demonstration of commit to the bit. Like it's not only, it's like black and white can go really far, and and red, I guess. They like
Yeah.
really stretch that. But then also just like pushing it into different types of animal fur was really like effective to me because it does add to the character a little bit, right? Like
Hmm.
it's not just that she loves black and white. We get that from the hair, ha ha ha. But then it's like, no, this woman is like obsessed with fur. And she has
Yeah.
made, what did they, there's a line about how she was like, "Oh, I made leopard really big in the 80s." And I was like, "Okay." Nice. So
Go
good.
off. Yes.
And then she brings it
Yeah.
back as she's getting rediscovering her love of animal furs. It's great.
Yeah. I mean, there's certainly intention with obviously her love of black and white and red all over, you could say, in a very dark way for
Mhm.
Dalmatians and red, if you know what I'm saying. Uh,
Yikes. Yeah.
so,
Never considered that.
yep, there's something to that. But yeah, it's just really one of those things where even if the movie around her is rather average on the whole, I also think it's one of the better Disney remakes. And
Totally.
maybe that's kind of by default because a lot of them just seem cheap and ugly and CGI'd to death. But yeah, they really did put a lot of craft, like good old fashioned craft, into this. So yeah, I
Totally.
respect it more than I ever did, I suppose.
Yeah. Yep.
But yeah, let's get, unless you had any other stray observations and notes,
No, let's do it. Let's
we
get
could get
into
to the release of the movie. It premiered on November 18th, 1996 at Radio City Music Hall.
Oh my God.
And this must be noted. She appeared in costume, essentially in character as Cruella de Vil, wearing her fabulous red and black coat, her black and white wig, of course, the cigarette holder, and these beautiful red latex boots.
Yes.
One of the best things an actor has ever done on a red carpet.
Those photos are incredible.
Truly.
Yeah.
Yes. I adore the one where she is laughing her ass off and just living her full self, just fully staring camp in the eye.
Yep.
It's truly such a serve. And I think, are there actors that do that nowadays? I don't know.
Well, now it's all like so manicured. It's like, oh,
Yeah.
Zendaya is wearing like something that evokes the color of a tennis ball on the Challengers,
Right.
premiere. It's like so tame. It's like an intersection of fashion. It's not costumey at all. And I miss it. I miss it. Bring me
I
the
really
theater kid energy on that, I think.
Very, very that. Yes.
Yeah.
But, also I think for her, like, there is a thematic element to her doing that, obviously, of like this character being a big fashion maven, that it only kind of felt right, I think, for Glenn to show up at the premiere as Cruella would and, steal all the attention and own the room and, make the event kind of a special one. So I love that
Absolutely.
choice.
And also just you can tell she's having so much fun with it. And I always love
Absolutely.
to see that. Yeah.
So then after the premiere, it officially premiered in theaters on November 27th, 1996. It was a big Thanksgiving release that year. It debuted at #1 that weekend with $33 million. Keep in mind, it did have some pretty good family-friendly competition that weekend with Space Jam and Jingle All the Way, also
Oh my
in theaters. Yes.
We used to be a country.
Right? Well, let's just continue it. Like, we had Star Trek First Contact, Ransom, The Mirror Has Two Faces.
Oh my God.
And The English Patient, aforementioned. So, quite a bit of competition there, but it also had really strong legs. And eventually, 101 Dalmatians became the 6th highest grossing movie of 1996. So we finally have another box office hit for Glenn after quite a few, let's say, modest hits to flops. This is her highest grossing film since Fatal Attraction, which still ultimately made more money, if you can believe it. More money than this, family-friendly Disney film. But yeah, anyway, major success for Glenn. Didn't go all that great with critics. Pretty mixed
Sure.
reception. And there was a feeling that, like, it was kind of unnecessary to remake it. Which, again, like, these
You're not
comments
wrong.
continue to this day, That is also, like, a little too slapstick. But Glenn got pretty much universal raves, and she received another Golden Globe nomination for this, for Best Actress in a Comedy or Musical. And I did just want to narrow in on this as well. What a category it was this year. So, in addition to Glenn, we had Frances McDormand for Fargo,
Jesus.
Debbie Reynolds for Mother, Barbara Streisand for The Mirror Has Two Faces, and the winner, Madonna, for Evita. So,
Wow.
yes, it was that year. It was
Oh
that
my
year.
God. Well,
I mean, that
imagine
category is...
pick a winner out of that.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
I was going to say, this category is like gay heaven.
Who would you pick, do you think?
I mean, I probably Glenn.
Yeah.
Even though, like, Frances McDormand is definitely the best performance there for me.
Yeah.
But just
Oh
for,
my
like,
gosh.
embodying Best Actress in a Comedy or Musical, that feels like Glenn for me in this.
Totally.
That's what this should be
Totally.
for. Maybe
Oh
not
my
an Oscar,
gosh.
but, like, Golden Globe for that category, absolutely. What would you pick?
I have no clue. I genuinely have no idea.
Wow.
I mean-
Undecided voter.
Well, it is kind of like, I think you're right. The spirit of like a comedy should, be Glenn
so.
Close, but then also Frances McDormand in Fargo is like kind of iconic, and also
Yeah.
Barbara Streisand, and also Madonna for the bit.
For the bit, yes.
So I don't know. I'm an undecided voter.
Wow. Just give
Yeah.
it to Debbie Reynolds.
That's true. That is kind
Yeah.
of an underrated film, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. So anyway, Glenn still not a Golden Globe winner. This is her 7th loss. But
Okay, that'll push me into. I'll do Glenn now.
yes,
I can't
as
let
much
that
as you can
stand.
say someone is overdue for a Globe.
Yeah.
I still think she was. She would ultimately win her first for the TV movie The Lion in Winter in 2004, but I don't know.
And she won for the wife too.
Yes, she did.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Let's just talk, if you want, a little bit about the reception here. Like, again, a huge hit with audiences, not so much with critics. Any thoughts on why it was received in this way?
I mean, yeah, I think it's probably because I haven't read any of the actual reviews from this, but I've read many from this era. And I mean, even stretching
Yeah.
back into the 1970s, like how many critics are just so tired of remakes and like IP, and like specifically the way Disney approaches it. And
Yeah.
we're still doing it, and it's only gotten worse.
Right, like exponentially worse.
Yes. And so I have a lot of sympathy for exactly the sentiment that they're expressing. I
Yeah,
only don't have sympathy for it because we're experiencing something so much worse now. And I'm like, you don't know how good you had it.
exactly.
So I get it. And like,
Yeah.
but I also think in general, when I think about reviews of children's entertainment or like entertainment where, you know, the idea is to like go have a fun time with your kids, like sometimes I feel like critics do go a little too hard on that kind of stuff, you know?
Yeah.
Because it's like, of course, you want quality, you want things to be detailed and like nuanced, like in a way that kids can understand. And so, in some sense, like, no, you can't serve kids slop, but I'm also at the same time, you do need to be a little more generous with like what the target audience is like getting out of this. And
Right.
so, like, in some sense, I'm completely sympathetic with like wanting more from this, but also I'm like, I think as the target audience for that film when it came out, I had a good time with it and I can't,
Yeah.
like I
No, I
can't
agree.
begrudge it. So, yeah, I guess I'm conflicted on it, but I have more affection for the film than they did, I guess.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, for me, it's a classic case of just family entertainment that's not very sophisticated or even smart, but is relatively fun for all ages, even
Yeah.
if the slapstick maybe wears thin for some adults.
Yeah.
I really do think though that Glenn's performance is what helped make it a success for all ages, really, because like kids, she is embodying that menacing kind of mania and horror, and the cackle is so scary. But also for adults, like they can be entertained by those big choices she's making and what she's bringing it. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Absolutely.
no matter what way you slice it, it is great work from her, and that has for me only grown in appreciation, this performance.
Yeah.
So
Her character is for the parents. Like, who's laughing at the lines of, like, oh, I'm so sorry you're having kids? Are the
right.
people who had to, like, get up at 9 a.m. to, like, drag their kid to a movie,
Yeah. So you could
on
see some
Thanksgiving?
parents laughing
Yeah.
a little too hard at some of her lines. Yes.
Yeah.
Well, let's get to our last segment where we're going to rate Glenn's performance on a very specific scale. So, thinking about her performance and where this sits in her career, would you say that her performance as Cruella de Vil is such that she's ready for her close-up, which is to say one of her best performances? Is it low Glenergy, not one of your faves, not an essential, or close but no cigar, somewhere in the middle? I think I know your answer, but
Yeah. Oh,
go
she's
for it.
ready for her close up for sure. I think this is one of her better performances, which is so funny to say, like about this movie in general.
Yeah.
But no, I think she, I think we overuse the word iconic, but I think it actually applies here. Like when you come up with multiple quotable lines in a film, like it's not just the writer, it's the way that it's delivered, and we owe that to her, how big and committed she is to this role. And if anyone is going to watch this in 2025, I think it's going to be because of her. So I
Yeah.
would say, yeah, one of her better ones for me.
Yes, absolutely. This is an easy ready for her close-up moment. No questions asked.
Hmm.
She defined Cruella de Vil for an entire generation,
Yes.
and more probably after. Like every line is somehow out of 10, but it never feels one note for me. Like, she is so smart in how she calibrates her performance here to be goofy, but also scary, but also funny, and to fulfill what this role is requiring of her, and just like going the extra mile. Like, for me, she really brings an X factor to this and really commits to it with a kind of seriousness of a dramatic thespian to get it right. But also there's that looseness, and to bring it full circle, what you were mentioning about like that goofy side of her, to let us know that she's kind of in on the joke too, that I think is important for the character. So it's actually kind of, for me, like kind of masterful work. And, you know, to reiterate, one of the only redeeming things that these remakes have to offer is this performance.
Yes. And name me a better one in a live action remake. I can't.
I literally can't even come up with other contenders for that.
I know. I know. That's what's so shocking about it, honestly.
Yeah. So, Izzy, thank you so much for joining me. This was such a blast. It flew right by.
My pleasure. Of course. Thank you for having me.
Yeah. Well, where can people find more from you on the internet?
My YouTube channel is just called Be Kind Rewind, and you can find me on Instagram at BK_rewind.
Yeah. Highly, highly recommend. I'm sure everyone listening to this, our demographic is like it's a circle.
Yeah, that's
it's not even
true.
A Venn diagram.
Yeah.
So, yes. But just like, yeah, watch her videos if you haven't in a while. They're still good, still going strong.
Hit me up. Yep.
Yeah.
Don't abandon me, please.
Yes. All right. Thank you all so much for listening. You could find me at Kevin_Jacobsen on Twitter and Instagram, just Kevin Jacobsen, no underscore on Blue Sky. You can also listen to my Oscar-themed podcast, And the Runner-Up Is, for coverage of every single Best Actress race, including, as I mentioned, 3 with Izzy here, going the full gamut of Carol Lombard and My Man Godfrey to Renee Zellweger and Judy. We covered the whole breadth of cinematic history there. But yeah, that's And the Runner-Up Is on all platforms. And keep up with The World According to Glenn on social. Go to The Glenn Pod and rate, review, and follow on all platforms. And with that, darling, I will bid you all adieu.